This is for you, Scorpio. Get ready for the annular solar eclipse that's occurring on the 1st of the month, as well as the penumbral lunar eclipse that's going to occur on the 16th of the month. So there's two events that are designated as eclipses, although they're very particular types of eclipses. We're going to get into that in a minute here. I'm Pastor Rosemary, the Astrology Angel. Thank you for joining us. If you'd like to get in touch with me, and if you'd like to ask about our classes and seminars, psychic, astrology, and those kinds of things, you can visit www.readingsbyrosemary.com, and you can check out again our classes and seminars on Healing Wings of Light Seminar, Merkaba, Rosicrucian Kabbalah, and those kind of upcoming events. Okay, now getting into the eclipses this month. The annular solar eclipse, these kind of eclipses don't really completely envelop the disk of the sun. This current one occurs in the sign of Virgo, the Virgin, and that's going to have the divine tone, or activate the divine tone of I Analyze during a new moon, which serves to accentuate the effects of the current north node in Virgo with the moon at its apogee, having the result of causing a distancing of emotionality. So that's going to be kind of a less feelings, or more distant feelings, and a distancing also, and a lessening or a waning of the right brain sort of artistic abilities that are simply in a state of rest at this juncture to enliven the expression of such talent in the months to come. So as the months continue and some of these various planets move out of Virgo, again, the ancients used to refer to the sun and moon as planets because it just meant wanderer. But anyway, and also the north node being in Virgo presently, with all of this going on, there's going to be a lot of logic activated and a waning of the artistic or the emotional. That's going to change as some of these as these bodies move out of Virgo. So some of these artistic abilities will come back. So it's important to understand how that's going to progress. Now, the moon, sun, and the earth will be completely aligned during this event. This particular lunar eclipse is penumbral, and it's going to be in the sign of Pisces, the fish, and that's going to activate the divine tone of I Believe. It's also important to note that right now the south node of the moon is in the sign of Pisces. So that's also going to activate some of the more karmic aspects, where the north node activates some of the more dharmic aspects. In other words, the south node would be more akin to, say, Mosaic law, for example, and the north node would be more akin to Abrahamic law. Abrahamic law being more about trusting the divine, and the Mosaic law more about man being able to do things by his works. So it's kind of a works versus faith, Calvinistic type of difference between the north and the south node. So understand that. Now the full moon will cast a diffuse shadow upon the moon, and although this is not as intense as the bite that's taken out of the moon as is seen during a partial lunar eclipse, or give the melodramatic effect of causing the moon to appear like it's been dipped in blood, as seen during a total lunar eclipse, still there will be the effect of previously planted stealthy seeds sure to bloom later, although most likely not probably in the manner the engineer of such seeds had in mind. Now, rounding off the month, we have a second new moon event. New moon, second new moon, so that's different than when you have two full moons. But anyway, the second new moon event will be on the 30th in the sign of Libra, the scales, which occurs for those using Eastern Daylight Time, while sky watchers utilizing Greenwich Mean Time must wait for the 1st of next month for this type of lunar phase. We'll get more into that later on in this broadcast. Now, Mars travels direct all month long. The red planet moves through the sign of Sagittarius the Archer from the 1st to the 26th of the month, affecting your second house of money and possessions. Mars then ingresses into the sign of Capricorn on the 27th of the month, influencing you, Scorpio, in your third house of transportation and communications. And now again, so these attributes have general, like it generally affects everyone. Capricorn generally is going to affect everyone in their 10th house, but it's going to affect you particularly in your third house. And if you, for Capricorn, but if you're someone, you know, an individual, obviously, that you have specific places and times of birth, that's going to add another more precision attribute to your chart, where that it doesn't negate the other things, the more general things, it simply fleshes it out. Just like the skin doesn't negate the muscle, it simply fleshes out the entire body that you're talking about. So this is what you need to understand. So anyway, with Mars directing Capricorn at this time, as well as your second ruler Pluto turning direct a day earlier also in Capricorn, this will be a time for all the natural 10th house issues of social standing and your fame or your infamy to come not only to the forefront of your life, but also to be dealt with in an unambiguous manner. Now, the planetary angel Chamael or Chamael is assigned to the planet Mars in Kabbalah, also called Chamael, being Samael or sometimes Azazel on the other side of the coin, since these angels are varying levels of correction and severity that sometimes involve anger or even violence. So be mindful when utilizing these powerful angelic forces. From the Zohar, we're going to quote here, it's very important. Who is he who said, see now that I am he, the cause, high above all causes, the one that is called the cause of causes, is a cause among all the rest of the causes. So every single one of these causes shall not do anything unless it receives permission from the cause above it. That's a Kabbalistic truth from the Zohar. So continuing with the Zohar, the phrase, and there is no Elohim within me, Samael and the serpent I kill and I make alive, I kill with my Shekinah, where we get the terms often referred to when people try to paraphrase using a phonetically sounding term like shock and awe. It's invoking the Shekinah, the Shekinah. So I diverted here from the Zohar quote. So I'll pick it up here from this quote. And there is no Elohim with me, Samael the serpent, I kill and I make alive. I kill with my Shekinah whoever is guilty, and I make alive with her whoever is innocent. Again, that's a quote from the Zohar. And this is referring to this powerful attribute of this angel. Now, Mars is known as the attribute of God, the warrior, found in Exodus 15:3. The Lord is a man of war. Almighty is his name. Now, this is referring to, again, the martial aspects. Now, it's important to remember that Samael and Chamael can both be referred to, and that's, you can get it from these very ancient texts and the Sefer Yetzirah Zohar, and those types of books that really became all the rage in the 80s and in the 90s. And well, no, I think it became more something to study more in the 90s. Around 1995, when Kabbalah was let out to the world, but there were rumblings of it before that in the late 80s. But my involvement with Kabbalah really comes from mostly from the early 90s and the mid 90s and then beyond. Pluto, your second ruling planet, Scorpio, travels retrograde from the 1st to the 25th of the month, turning direct on the 26th, still in the sign of Capricorn, the goat, and that's going to last until 2023. For the lion's share of the month, while Pluto is transiting retrograde through Capricorn, this influences your third house of communication and transportation for you specifically. This particular astrological happening generates increasing power in your psychic abilities. Remember to not overdo exercise routines through the 25th. When Pluto goes direct on the 26th, Scorpio begins to feel more like yourself, moving forward with the goals you've placed on the shelf for attention at this very time. You just might surprise yourself at how forthcoming you'll be when Pluto goes direct. You're gonna feel that's gonna be something that you're going to be able to notice in yourself. You'll feel that, and you'll feel more like yourself. Now, keep in mind that this continues to influence your third house when this occurs. The planetary angel Azrael is assigned to the planet Pluto in Kabbalah. Azrael is the angel of transformation and death, known as the angel who is the one whom God helps. Azrael occupies the third heaven called Paradise, adding and subtracting the names of people in his large book, which he keeps until the end, when he will finally be the last to die. He is known as Azrael in the Zohar, where he accepts the prayers of those who reach the heavenly realm of the abode of God, also commanding many of the angels of God. Pluto is known as the attribute of God, the rich Father, found in Luke 12:24. Consider the ravens, for they sow not, neither do they reap, neither have they storehouse nor barn, and God feedeth them. How much are you more valuable than they? We have an Enochian angel prediction, especially for you at the end of this video, so stay right here, don't go anywhere. Now, let's see how your ruling planets of Mars and Pluto affect you this month, Scorpio. Your water guardian archangel Gabriel speaks to you from your Scorpio astrology archangel, who is Barchiel. This is an angelic horoscope transmission from your Scorpio zodiac angel Barchiel, who resides over the Scorpion's fixed water nature, and here are his messages for you in love, money, and health. Okay, now first we're going to get into Barchiel's love, rapture, and romance transmission for you. Again, this is with the help of the Archangel Gabriel, who rules over all the water signs. Expect a woman born under the sign of Libra, that's Libra, the scales, who helps Scorpio this month, bringing more balance, because that's what Libra specializes in, and togetherness into your life, making provisions for you in matters regarding the birth of natural fifth house issues, such as creative projects or children. If you don't know how to romance someone that you might have your sights set on for marriage, you should consult the Song of Solomon 2:4-5. He brought me into the cellar of wine. He set in order charity in me, stay me up with flowers, compass me about with apples, because I languish with love. So that's, you can, again, use Song of Solomon as a resource if you don't know how to romance the person that you have your sights set on for marriage. Now for Barchiel's money and wealth transmission, look for a well-established, authoritative woman born under the sign of Libra to show you great consideration by assisting you with selecting from a number of various financial planning ventures. Many people want to help Scorpio this month due to the vast understanding you've shown to others, demonstrating your forgiveness and your attitude, which is very charitable, showing your forgiving nature. My parental grandfather used to tell me to give to the poor in all modesty without fanfare. Consider Matthew 6:2. Therefore, when thou dost an alms seed, sound not a trumpet before thee, as the hypocrites do in the synagogues and in the streets, that they may be honored by men. Amen, I say to you, they have received their reward. Nevertheless, my grandpa used to also say that when we tithe to God, this should be done with a generous spirit. Let us look at Matthew 23:23. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, because you tithe mint and anise and cumin, and have left the weightier things of the law, judgment, and mercy, and faith. These things you ought to have done, and not to leave those undone. Now for Bartschel's health and fitness transmission, a woman possessing powerful feelings about how one should pursue health and fitness goals, who has your best interest at heart, born under the sign of Pisces, factors significantly into your plans for ultimate health and total fitness this month. Her agenda will be towards helping you reach your goals. She will want to choose, she'll want to help you choose specific diet and exercise regimens at this time in the pursuit of attempting to get you to really focus on your health programs that she thinks will work for you best. So that's her goal. All of this is great, and her attempts to center you will probably be good for you. But remember, the people that are usually trying to sell you something, no matter who they are for, you know, it's always going to be the case that no matter how much somebody's doing something out of the goodness of their heart, which many times they are, they're still trying to sell you something in some manner. Either for someone else, or they want your time, or they want your money, or they want something from you, or they want your attention, they want something, because it's the way we were created. All creatures behave in this manner. It's not anybody's fault. It's the way we were created. So you need to understand that, to understand how people function, what makes them tick. Now, even a beloved pet sells you unconditional love in trade for food and shelter. If you don't take care of the animal, it's going to wander off. You know, it's not going to stay with you if you don't care for it properly. Now, my maternal grandmother used to advise me in health from the scripture. We read in the book of Proverbs 16:24-25, well-ordered words are as a honeycomb, sweet to the soul and health to the bones. There is a way that seemeth to a man right, and the ends thereof lead to death. So my grandma used to tell me to listen to her and not to men, because men are always trying to, you know, get women to do things that they really shouldn't be doing. Okay, now for this month's Enochian angel prediction. Couples get along famously this month. This is a spectacular time to work on your best and most important relationships. It's time for you to go out with your spouse or significant other for the purpose of strengthening your bond together. A disclaimer is in order here. High magic can be dangerous. This is intended exclusively for entertainment purposes. Okay, remember to chant the divine tone, and that's your divine tone, Scorpio, of I create. Or try out the higher aspect of simply meditating on the quality of creating. Be wise, be well, be all you are meant to be, Scorpio. Now for the ephemeris information calculations for Eastern and Greenwich Mean Time, respectively. For Eastern Time, that's Eastern Daylight Time. This month, the new moon on the 1st of September 2016, that's at 5:03 a.m. at 9 degrees Virgo, 21 minutes. That's the annular solar eclipse on the new moon. The full moon on the 16th of September 2016 at 3:04 p.m. at 24 degrees Pisces, 19 minutes. That's the penumbral lunar eclipse, 3 out of 3 lunar eclipses in 2016. There's a new moon on the 30th of September 2016 if you're using Eastern Daylight Time, and you're only going to have it be on the 30th of September if you're utilizing Eastern Daylight Time. That's 2016. That's at 8:12 p.m. at 8 degrees Libra, 15 minutes. And we're just saying only in comparison to that, we only are using that in comparison to Greenwich Mean Time. So regarding Greenwich Mean Time, it's going to take place on another day. If you just stay right here, and we'll get you up to speed on that in a moment here. So on Greenwich Mean Time, the new moon on the 1st of September 2016 at 9:04 a.m. at 9 degrees Virgo, 21 minutes. The full moon on the 16th of September 2016 at 7:06 p.m. at 24 degrees Pisces, 20 minutes. The penumbral lunar eclipse, again, that's 3 out of 3 lunar eclipses in 2016. The penumbral lunar eclipses, even though they're not as visible or melodramatic, they still count. Okay. Note here, this is what we want to tell you regarding the difference between Eastern Daylight Time and Greenwich Mean Time. This month is very important because the new moon in Libra occurs on October 1st, 2016 for those using Greenwich Mean Time. So just be aware of that. Thank you for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Pastor Rosemary, the Astrology Angel. Please join us again next month. Remember, we love you guys.
You can have anything you like, it's your fantasy. You can have it any way you want, your fantasy. You can have anything you like.